it's Henna, and I like to talk about perfume. On my little corner of the internet, I've actually reviewed so many Diptyque perfumes. Maybe you found me and started following me because of one of my Diptyque videos. Today we are talking about Diptyque Oud Palao. Now this is a perfume that wasn't really on my radar, and I kind of thought that I had reached the end of reviewing all the Diptyques that I wanted to review, but as I was cleaning through my samples, I saw that I actually had a sample of this one, and it's an official sample. So I've been wearing it off and on, and it's intriguing enough for me to return to it. It's also offering me something different than all my other rose perfumes that I have in my perfume wardrobe. I've been craving rose perfumes, and this is a very interesting rose perfume. So that is why I was drawn to Oud Palao. If you're wondering why you haven't seen a bottle of it at your local Diptyque counter at a department store, this is a offering that is only available at certain Diptyque stores. So you would have to actually go into an official Diptyque boutique to be able to buy this. There are some online retailers, of course, there's the official Diptyque site, but this is only available at the boutique. It's not one available at the counter. I remember years ago, I went to the Diptyque counter to smell this, and the sales associate had never heard of it. I guess she had only really been familiar with the ones that they sold there. But this one is a little bit under the radar, I think, and maybe a little bit slept on because it is a very interesting but challenging perfume. Oud Palao came out in 2015, and the perfumer behind it is Fabrice Peligan. It is an EDP formulation, which means that it's a little bit more expensive than their regular EDTs. A 75 ml bottle retails for $325 Canadian. From what I hear, prices are going up in a few weeks, sometime this fall, and so it will be $345 for 75 ml of all their eau de parfums, including this one. So if you're interested in getting yourself a bottle of Oud Palao or smelling it, probably you want to do that sooner rather than later, so you can decide whether you want to buy it. Oud Palao is an offering that is in the genre of rose oud perfumes. Maybe it's a bit of a cliched category right now to pair oud with rose. I think at maybe the beginning of the 2000s, we saw niche brands come out with their rose oud perfumes or oud perfumes. I know Kilian launched a bunch at that time. Tom Ford came out with quite a few at that time. So 2015 was quite a bit late to come out with a rose oud perfume, but this is a very well done and interesting rose oud. The reason for that is that the oud in this is extremely animalic. It's quite skanky. It almost smells like body musk is how I would describe it. Apparently it's an oud material that's blended with civet, and that civet does come through. So if you're the type of person that likes a little bit of skank in your perfumes, then you might also like Oud Palao for that reason. That oud is the reason that I've been wearing this perfume and drawn to it. I think that it's pretty unique for a niche brand or even a huge brand like Diptyque to be offering such a challenging animalic perfume. Yes, rose ouds are a little bit cliched at this time, but this is a rose oud that's interesting because of how animalic the oud is. I've seen people compare it to Dior's Oud Ispahan, and when I smelled Oud Ispahan, that one seemed really boring and generic to me. It really wasn't interesting because the oud, on my skin at least, wasn't skanky at all. It wasn't interesting enough for me to keep smelling it. Rose was a little bit sharp and very prominent. The rose and Oud Palao kind of dies down after a little bit. Rose does have this kind of initial presence when you first spray it. It's the thing that people will catch a whiff of if you spray a perfume, and they'd be able to smell it in another room. But in Oud Palao, that rose gets subdued by the oud pretty quickly. The animalic nature of the oud isn't necessarily discernible to the people that are around you. It's something that you are going to smell yourself, because once this perfume starts drying down, you really get a paper-like powdery incense. You get sandalwood, which is often dry and dusty, and that really balances out the oud, and the oud also subdues the rose that's in this perfume. So I wouldn't say that this is primarily a rose perfume. I think rose is really in the opening. I just get a lot of the oud and then the sandalwood and the incense that is in this perfume, and I love wearing it because of all those qualities. I love a little bit of an animalic note in my perfumes. I really enjoy sandalwood. I enjoy incense. I like things that are powdery, and this does have a bit of powder in the dry down. If those are things that you like in your perfume, then Oud Palao is definitely something that you want to test out on your skin. I've said that Oud Palao has a papery dry incense in it. It has a dusty sandalwood note, both of which I adore. And for that reason, it does remind me of taking a day wandering through old temples. You can smell the bodies of the people that have been there before you. You can smell the energy of their footsteps. You can smell the wooden furniture. You can smell the incense. But all of it is like remnants in the air. It's not necessarily all happening at once. It's kind of like you get to experience it on your own terms without everybody else with you on that journey. It's kind of a spiritual fragrance in that sense because it brings together all these different experiences, the freshness of the rose combined with the animalic nature of the oud, and then all the woodsy notes that are in the dry down. I think it just makes for a beautiful and unique experience. Definitely something that is very unique to a big perfume house and at the Diptyque counter. I think a lot of their perfumes that I've tried read as very fresh. And this one, not that it's ambery or deep and dark, but it just is a little bit more introspective and spiritual. I would say that this is not really a safe blind buy because of how animalic this oud is. It's really it's something that needs a lot of confidence to be able to pull that off and know that you're really not going to offend anyone because they're likely not really going to be able to smell it. Anytime that I've worn something that's animalic, I know that people around me, if they can smell the perfume, they just think it smells good. And if they can't smell it, then they can't smell it and I'm safe. If you're wondering how skanky this oud is and what it reminds me of, I would say if you've smelled Oud and Musk from the Cartier line, it's very much like the animalic nature of that perfume. Kiehl's Original Musk also comes to mind because that is more of an animalic musk perfume. If either of those are your cup of tea, then maybe Oud Palao will be your cup of tea as well, provided that you also like rose perfumes. Although this does have a good presence when you first spray the perfume, overall, I wouldn't say that this is a very loud, shouty kind of scent. I think it does subdue itself a little bit so that only people that are close to you are going to be able to perceive the scent of the perfume, and I think that's pretty classy. I kind of like that about Diptyque in general, is that they're never going to make anything that is very shouty and obnoxious. I like the quality of the oud that's in here, whether it's real or synthetic. I think the effect is that it smells very real, so I appreciate that. The person that I think is going to want to wear this is someone that is very confident, but also wants to smell unique. This person is not afraid of animalic notes, and they're not afraid of wearing something that is complex and ever-changing, because Oud Palao is a perfume that's not very linear. I think from hour to hour on me, it smelled so different, but I think in the air, what people perceived was this woody, sandalwood, dry, papery incense kind of perfume. Yes, initially there is a lot of that rose, but probably in an hour or two that rose dries down and you're not just going to be smelling like rose. So if you want to smell unique, or you want to smell something that is very unique, and you like things that are a little bit more animalic, then definitely Oud Palao is going to be a perfume that you want to sample and try for yourself. Maybe you have an occasion where you need to present yourself in a very confident manner. Maybe this is the perfume that's going to help you do that. But if you want to wear something that is not going to stand out as much, then keep looking, because Oud Palao is not going to be it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.